Bitter criticism. Only Russia Today. Only Russia Today. That is entertainment guaranteed. Because Russia Today is pretty ironic, isn't it? But it looks like this American imperialism just end. So I guess there's no more irony, because there's no more need for that. But we will see. Just going to read some random news, I guess. Well, Russia Today. This was from April 22nd. Beijing's ambassador to France has claimed the legal status of Ukraine and other former USSR republics. It isn't concrete. Yeah, that's funny because it's like a China support for Russia. China questions sovereignty of ex-Soviet states. Beijing's ambassador to France has claimed the legal status of Ukraine and other former USSR republics. It isn't concrete. Well, that's interesting because what is this guy saying, isn't it? What they want? What do they want? What do Lu Shaye, yeah, Chinese ambassador to France, appears in an interview with France LC1 on Saturday. Well, let's gonna read it because is he crazy? Oh, let's read. China's ambassador to France has called into question the sovereignty of Ukraine and other former Soviet republics, suggesting that their hazy status under international law makes it difficult to resolve conflicts over disputes such as Crimea. Well, I think that Ukraine, it was a sovereign country, and there's a Transnistria country from Moldova, border Moldova and Ukraine, I guess. And there's a little country called Transnistria, and I know that this country, in fact, they have sovereignty problems, sovereignty questions. But I will keep reading because, well, maybe, yeah. But anyway, what an ambassador, what an Chinese ambassador in France are saying, isn't it? Why this is important? If he is really important, why he is just an ambassador and not a journalist? No, just kidding. Even this country, or a prime minister, isn't it? Or like, anyway, no, the real news here is France, because France is kind of exiting NATO, or maybe he is not sure about NATO, I guess. Anyway, even these countries, this is a quoting from Lu Shaye, even these countries of the former Soviet Union don't have effective status in international law because there is no international agreement to make their status as a sovereign country concrete. What? I really don't know nothing about this. In my mind, I thought that and 1990 everything was fine the next day, you know, like, well, right now this Poland, well, Poland is a national country, and that's fine, that's done, you know. I thought it was like that, like the end of Soviet Union. So next day, Republic, you know, done, fine. But looks like, anyway, looks like there's not like that. Ambassador Liu Sheye said on Saturday in an interview with French broadcaster LCI, I guess it's I, the letter I, anyway. Asked by Swiss journalist Darius Rochebin whether Crimea is Ukrainian territory, Liu said, "It depends on how you perceive the problem. It's not that simple." Rochebin tried to correct his guest, saying, "Sorry, according to the international law, you know it's Ukraine. Under international law, you can argue, you can dispute it, but this is Ukraine." Liu replied, "Crimea was originally part of Russia, wasn't it?" It was. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev who gave Crimea to Ukraine in the Soviet Union. Well, no, I'm agree with this argument, because, you know, presidents, they say Nikita Khrushchev. Well, Nikita Khrushchev did this. Well, what I'm saying is that the country's destiny are in hands of sometimes the country's direction is in stupid hands, you know, is in dumb hands and stupid people. I will not say the name of this president from this country, but this, well, he's doing great. He's doing, I don't know how he's doing. I don't know. The thing is, Gabriel Boric from Chile, he signed the TGP-11. That's, for me, that was the end of the. For me, this was the end for supporting him. Other than that, he's creating the lithium enterprise, which is kind of, well, the neoliberal media. All the media here is saying he is a communist and etc. But he's not. He's creating an enterprise from to lithium with 51% of ownership by the state. Well, control it, and that's the minimum they can do. You know, that's the minimum. I don't know if I want to support that, because all this media stuff, all this poison is terrible for the future. Nobody knows Chile, but that's it. This neoliberalism, people are so bad informed. You know, they are depressed. Chileans are chronically depressed. That's the truth. They cannot think about anything. You know, they can read anything. They can think about anything. They give away the lithium, give away the copper. They think they are doing great, but they are poor and will be miserable in the future, you know. So, what a sad country, you know. We're fucked up. But I just keep trying to discover the best place to go, you know. Maybe Russia, you know. Russia is, as Pepe Escobar says, is doing great. Kazakhstan, maybe. I will repeat here about Hainan. Oh, imagine a Brazilian called Hainan dos Santos. Belay dos Santos. Anyway, no. No, definitely. I think Hainan could be great, but as I read the other day, this is like a tropical lazy land. You know? It's all kind of lazy place. Well, I thought I liked the tropical weather, but this weather here today is a kind of cold because the winter is coming, but it's fine. This weather is the best. Maybe Hainan is too hot for me right now. Who knows? I have headaches because of the heat. I don't know. So let's keep reading. Asked by Swiss journalist Darius Rokebin whether Crimea is Ukrainian territory, Lu said, "It depends on how you perceive the problem. It's not that simple." Yeah, simple. Well, this is simple because it's relative, you know. Puerto Rico, for example, any territory in the world, is the United States territory American land? No, it's indigenous land. No, in this point I have to. No, I have to debate this. Look, Pepe Escobar on Telegram, he published some Brazilian map from the ethnic groups, and it was interesting. Like in Bahia, for example, there was Tupinambás, and Tupinambás were also on Pará, I guess. Is the ethnic groups from Brazil. So Brazil is a Brazilian land, a federal government from Brazil land, or is indigenous land, or you know what? This is a debate from the Olmecs, for example. People say the Aztecs killed the Olmecs. Well, I guess there are always people moving and battling, making some wars and being defeated, dying, and that's it. That's the life. That's how life goes. And well, what about Crimea? What is Crimea? Well, Crimea is Russia nowadays. You don't like that? You don't like Crimea? You think Crimea is Ukrainian? Well, go there and defeat Russia. I will not support you, but you can do it if you can. You know, you can do it. You should do it if you can. That is the world. The world is a power question. Anyway, Rokebin tried to correct his guess, saying, "Sorry, according to international law, you know it's Ukraine. Under international law, you can argue it. You can dispute it. But this is Ukraine." Lu replied, "Crimea was originally part of Russia, wasn't it? It was Soviet." Yeah, I just read this. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev, who gave Crimea to Ukraine in the Soviet Union. And I will have to defend Nikita Khrushchev because he didn't know that the USSR it will crash, it will end. So they did that because of, I don't know, internal policies. Anyway, Ukraine was a Soviet state, isn't it? Pressed again on the peninsula status, the Chinese diplomat said, "Now we must not quarrel about this kind of problem again. Now the most urgent thing is to cease fire, to stop." Chinese officials have tried to maintain a neutral stance on the Russian-Ukraine conflict, resisting pressure from the US and other Western powers to join in condemning Moscow and imposing sanctions. Beijing, which proposed a 12-point peace plan in February, has emphasized the need to stop the bloodshed in Ukraine and work toward a diplomatic solution that accounts to the security concerns of all parties involved. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has vowed to recapture all of his country's territory, including Crimea, a goal that most of Kiev's Western backers don't see as realistic. Residents of the peninsula voted overwhelmingly for Crimea to become part of Russia in 2014, following a US-backed overthrow of Ukraine's elected government. Asked about the importance of territorial integrity from Kiev's point of view, Lu again pointed to the historical complexity to the issue, saying, "There are enduring problems, aren't there, about their conflict? Their problem is so easy to say in one word. If you have any problems, you can talk about it together." That's it. Uh, well, I guess that's too much, isn't it? I guess this was the last time when people will talking about Crimea, because this is the loser stream, you know. The NATO is losing, so Ukraine will recover Crimea. Do you know that Ukraine is a bankrupt country? They are worse than ever. That Ukraine is from bad that worse is worsened. So Ukraine will change. Ukraine Maybe Ukraine will not exist anymore. Well, I'm just repeating, just retweeting, but well, this is all about Pepe Escobar. What he says, I support him. I he's my leader. uh, I guess he thinks that uh, uh, Kazakhstan is good. I think Kazakhstan is good. Anyway, April. This is from yesterday to the April 22nd. Chinese rent a warm industry menacing U.S. think tank. I don't know what's. Don't know. Don't get nothing here. Chinese rent a warm industry. Rent a warm. I don't know what's warm. Menacing U.S. think industry menacing U.S. Anyway, I don't get the title. This is the undertitle. Chinese citizens hiring American woman to bear their children pose a national security risk. I don't know what beer is. To bear, according to the Heritage Foundation. We got a Chinese couple happy with a kid, and the burgeoning Chinese American rent-a-bomb industry, in which aging Chinese couples draft fertile American women to give birth to offspring with U.S. citizenship, is a threat to national security, according to right-wing think tank the Heritage Foundation. This is crazy. And in which aging Chinese couple draft fertile American woman to give birth to offspring with U.S. citizenship. Why? This is they want to. This is legally strange. This is crazy because the photograph is not a elder couple. It's a young couple, a young Chinese couple, and anyway. And for me, at least, I'm kind of strange because this is strange for me because I don't know why people should do that. Why they don't just how to say, to go to an orphanage and adopt some kid. Anyway. When it comes to Chinese infiltration into every aspect of American life, this is a huge red flag. Emma Waiters, a research associate with the foundation, told Fox News on Friday she described a system in which embryos are created via in vitro fertilization in China for the US and then implanted stateside in an American woman who gives birth 9 months later to an American citizen with Chinese DNA. The child is then sent back overseas, raised by Chinese parents with Chinese values. Well, and what's the problem with that? So, no, this for me is crazy because I thought that in 2023, Chinese is still a poor country, you know. And well, this maybe Chinese people don't have they have the right to do, or they don't have the right to do that, you know. I have no idea how to interpret this, why this is happening, if this is real from Russia Today. And well, I do understand that American women are very poor. You know that happens all the time. If you watch some YouTube videos from homeless in America, you will know the reality. But the thing about why Chinese do this is a mystery for me. Miru, well, and why this is a problem? Yeah, this is it's kind of shocking for me, because all this thing of pregnancy is pretty tricky for a Latin country. You know, I guess this will not happen in a country like this. They do other things, like they give adulterate, useless, anti-conceptional, you know. That's true. Look, they give women false anti-conceptional, so women get pregnant, and the state have babies, you know. Because if you don't know this babyless thing, this how to say it, this lack of babies is a problem for all over the world. So something will have to born, you know. Anyway, and why is a problem anyway? Chinese children birthed by American surrogate gain and maintain the full rights of this is the reason. Look, the full rights of U.S. citizenship just by being born here. Waiters wrote in a Federalist open earlier this week, pointing out that when the child turns 21, the parents will have direct access to citizenship through a green card application. The fathers. Oh, this is... You know, I'm shocked because I'm a kind of romantic from the romantic culture, a romance. And this is all bullshit, you know. Artificial insemination, embryos, travel. No, travel is fine, but there's any love here. It's just interest, you know. Anyway, waiters describe as the demographic camouflage U.S. citizenship gives the Chinese children of American surrogates as a national security threat. I also believe. I have to agree with the U.S. I have no idea who these children are. So should they come back and get involved in research or academia or purchase contracts or even apply for jobs in sensitive areas? We don't have clear tracking to show that these U.S. citizens actually had a far more complicated background as path to the U.S. And a complicated background and path to the U.S. She explained it. And we have another news here. Putin approves ban on surrogacy for foreign. Oh, I don't know what is surrogacy. Well, maybe it's surrogacy. Maybe this is surrogacy. No U.S. federal or state laws require the tracking of international surrogacy procedures by country. Well, this is surrogacy, I guess. And many fertility clinics offer their services in Mandarin alongside boasts that they are the top destination for international surrogacy, thanks to the favorable legal, societal, and medical conditions of the U.S. Oh well, I got all the. I just get the whole message, the whole idea. Well, these are Chinese couples. Maybe they are not so old like that, but this article admits or is noticing that the U.S. have better conditions of medicine or anything like this. Still a powerhouse. And they do this like a way to get the green card. This basically that, basically like that. And it's pretty tricky, isn't it? Why the Russia Today is doing this? It's like a negative. It's like fighting against Russia and China, maybe. I don't know. Pepe Escobar said that Chinese Xi Jinping, I guess. She said that Lula is her friend, is his friend, but and maybe Brazil and China are closest than Russia and China. But this news is like a threat to, I don't know. This is for right wing, isn't it? It's a right wing news. They're saying here that Putin approves ban on surrogacy for foreigners. So everything is just like nationalism. And they say that the US is blocking this possibility. Anyway, surrogacy is illegal in China, which until 2015 limited most couples to a single child. A policy that led to a significant overrepresentation of males in the country of 1.4 billion people, while waiters acknowledged there was no definite link between the Chinese Communist Party and the commercial surrogacy industry. Yeah, everything is tricky here because Chinese is controlled by the Communist Party, but this is like society is doing this, and there's freedom to do that, and in China there's not allowed. But I know that after 2015 this single child policy was extinct, and maybe there's and China is lacking of people too. Anyway, well, this news is interesting for Ultra Argentina. This guy Cristian Nada from Hypernada also, and well, I don't know if he's still making videos, but he loves this subject of not fertility, you know, and demography, and I don't know if he knows what is surrogacy is. I will send him later. She suggested not Xi Jinping. She suggested its popularity was part and parcel of a communist invasion that also included Chinese investment in Hollywood and farmland purchases. It's not, I guess it's Chinese, not communist. Not a communist invasion, Chinese invasion. Anyway, and commercial surrogacy industry. Well, this thing about commercial surrogacy industry like shocked me out because it's not the way I think the stuff, you know. There's a lot of kids around. I don't know if you, well, if you want to use your children to have rights, you're pretty in my opinion you are a sick person, you know, because kids that's the problem, you know. People who want to have benefits from a kid, that's immoral. But anyway, World Waters called for federal restrictions on Chinese surrogacy. Hundreds of Chinese babies are born to American women in California. Hundreds alone in California alone every day. NPR revealed last year a significantly more expensive, upward of 100,000 per child, 100,000 version of the anchor baby phenomenon that that incited demographic panic in previous generations of Fox News audiences. Anchor baby. Well, this is understandable because inside it, well, it's a huge, well, the world. I just get sick with this news, you know, because in California there is people who who has given, they give $100,000 per child. But you know, and there's of course a lot of poor women who accept to do this, and they are their child, but they don't care, you know. But all this is kind of sick. Well, pretty sick. And you know what happens in restriction. Oh, I forgot what I'm going to say. Well, this is not. I remember. This is not so much people, you know, because there's no. But this is just hundreds. Like hundreds of Chinese babies are born to American women in California alone every year. Hundreds. Hundreds is nothing, you know. Maybe hundreds is just the Chinese super rich, and that's it. And is an elite thing. Well, this news is definitely for Ultra Argentina channel. He do this content. Well, and that's it. This is not a communist or Chinese question, because if you have to have $100,000, you know, is only, I don't know, maybe Elon Musk is not that crazy, you know, to do this, and you have to be rich and crazy, you know, to do this kind of disgust. I don't know if it's disgusting, but it's like that. And it's a very few people. It's 100 people for a country with 1 billion people, you know. Well, anyway, next news. Next news from yesterday to April 2020, April 22, 2023. Guantanamo inmates face accelerated aging. Red Cross. Was this Guantanamo? Yeah, Guantanamo. The US is accused of failing to address the mounting needs of detainees at the prison, which two presidents have promised to close. And we have protests to close Guantanamo. So there's aging people there. The few dozens, like, I don't know how many, few dozens, like 24 people. The few dozen detainees still incarcerated at the US military prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, are suffering rapid deterioration of body and mind. The International Committee of Red Cross, head of delegation for the US and Canada, has claimed it. I saw this video from once. I saw in the documentary. I don't remember what, maybe Michael Moore's, that one guy was detained in Guantanamo, but then he was released, of course. But that's it. Like maybe it was that movie 9/11, yeah, Fahrenheit 9. I guess it's that movie. From one guy was detained there, and according to a statement posted to the organization's website on Friday, Patrick Hamilton was struck by how those who are still detained today are experiencing the symptoms of accelerated aging, worsened by the cumulative effects of their experience and years spent in detention. Upon visiting the prison for the first time in 20 years, about a third of Guantanamo's inmates have been locked up on the island for that entire time. Steps must be taken to address the physical and mental health needs of the aging detainee population, requirements which are increasing in severity as they would for any superannuated population, and the compounded by the austerity of the living environment. existing conditions are only making their health worse, contributing to a cycle of deterioration, Hamilton suggested. The Red Cross representative recommended access to educate health care, including emergency care, and increased contact with families as basic steps that will go a long way toward providing for the basic human needs of prisoners who may never leave the island alive. A total of 780 detainees have passed through the notorious facility, of whom 31 remain. Despite the promises of former and current US President Barack Obama and Joe Biden to shut down the prison, it has been all but forgotten by many of the activists who once demanded its closure. We have read more. Special Service declassified Guantanamo court filings suggest some 9/11 hijackers were CIA agents. Yeah, definitely this news. I will read the other day. I will read this. Well, and I'll just make a criticism here. This is probably all true, but people, the real people, normal people, just don't care about nothing, you know. These are farm animals. They farm animals, and if they have some pressure, I guess they will forget everything, you know. They're coward. These kind of militants, activists, they forgot about this, and American society that have another things to think about, and no one cares about this, the things like that. At least 3 men are currently being held at Guantanamo in indefinite law of war detention. This is the status. Indefinite law of war detention. Maybe was related to the 9/11, isn't it? Like this news here says hijackers were CIA agents, or maybe they're poor people, isn't it? Poor that no one claim. People who got no. Who were forgotten by society, isn't it? They are 31 that remains there, and they probably are, how to say, I forgot they were innocent. They probably be innocent. At least 3 men are currently being held at Guantanamo in indefinite law of war detention. 3, and are no condemned and are not recommended for transfer, including 2 who have been there since 2006. All 3 of those were previously tortured by the CIA's Black Sites program, according to the New York Times. Another 17 prisoners are held in law of war detention, but could theoretically be transferred if certain security conditions are met. Just 10 have been charged in the military commission system, and 1 convicted. The rest remain uncharged. 10 men have been imprisoned on the island since 2022 because of the 9/11. 10. Yeah, that's it. And 7 more sent there that year have died at the site. 7. What happens is that there were, I guess, in the 9/11, there were a lot of immigrants. There were a lot of Muslims, Arabs in the United States. So I guess, as Michael Moore told us, that 9/11, Fahrenheit 9/11 movie documentary explains how Osama bin Laden's family was protected, and these poor Arabs were imprisoned. That's the truth. So the innocent people and innocent and poor people still and forever will be in the prisons. That's the truth about law. While a 2004 U.S. Supreme Court ruling found detainees had the right to challenge their detention on the basis of habeas corpus, only one detainee has won such a case. The prison remains a reminder of the judicial excesses of the war on terror. But maybe the war on terror maybe is over, because as Pepe Escobar says I forgot the name of there is a video as a channel on, well, Pepe Escobar is doing a lot of interviews with a lot of channels, and this is a video called Pepe Escobar live on Russia and China, leading a multipolar world in revolt. And that's it. And that thing, this video on YouTube, they comment about how Xi Jinping made the peace for Syria. How Syria and Saudi Arabia are friends now, something like that. So there's no more war on terror, or maybe it's going to that. It's going in that direction. Well, this Russia Today site have a lot of garbage, selling a lot of garbage like pillows, bags. I have a helmet. Oh, I will find my helmet. And look, I'm a crazy hippie. I'm a crazy hippie against the war. Yeah, against the war. Can you see? This is the Russia Today, but it's not official. I made this Russia Today. But you can have a bag to fly. This is a shop RT shop, and we have anyway. We're gonna read the last one from yesterday to 22nd on April 22nd. War game reveals K-US weakness in potential Taiwan war game. Oh, this is like an Olympics for military, I guess. A think tank has found that Washington will be unable to resupply the island with weapons in the event of a Chinese invasion. A wargame modeling exercise ordered by a U.S. congressional committee has shown that it will be impossible for Washington to resupply Taiwan with weapons and equipment after a Chinese invasion on the self-governing island. The exercise was carried out this week by the U.S. House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, with help from think tank Center for a New American Security in Washington. We have a photograph. Taiwanese troops hold readiness drills in January at a base in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. The exercise was carried out this week by the U.S. House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, with help from think tank Center for a New American Security in Washington. We are well within the window of maximum danger for a Chinese Communist Party invasion of Taiwan. And yesterday's war games stressed the need to take action to deter CCP aggression and arm Taiwan on the T before any crisis begins. U.S. Representative Mike Gallagher, a Wisconsin Republican who chairs the committee, said on Thursday in a statement. Well, again, I Pepe Escobar is my guru. Like, yeah, it's my guru. It's like my well, it's my analyst. It's my not psychoanalyst, but my geopolitical analyst. He said that probably the transition from the power transition in Taiwan will be just like Hong Kong's. They said that there could be war, but will not that time. Anyway, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube saying that the most time of that China, or I guess there's video like that, the most time that China prepare for a war, it was war, or wars in general. There's a lot of military videos, geopolitical videos that say that war is a reality, you know. Is all this preparation for wars? Maybe it didn't happen in Hong Kong, but probably will happen, or it's not probably, but it is probably, you know. It's not, no one can guarantee that stupidity of nuclear war, but it can happen.